I have an old clip that literally the hook of my clip is I just said, fuck ChatGPT. Because it was like at the time, it like, until you got really in the weeds with it, like. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Video Marketers Vault podcast. For those who might be new here and just discovering this podcast for the first time, my name is Evan Andrews, the owner and operator of Andrews Media out of Houston, Texas. And if you haven't already, make sure you go like this video already so that we know that you saw it and we can serve you more stuff in the future. Make sure you hit the subscribe button here on YouTube as well to stay up to date with all the content that we are putting out here at the Video Marketers Vault. Today, I have a special guest, Mr. Nick Thorpe. He is one of the owners of Revno.io, a budding AI company that is helping people just like service businesses, local service businesses for that matter, help them infuse AI into the way that they're doing their marketing and operations within their business. Nick, how are you doing today?
Doing awesome, man. Got back from Mexico, Cancun, about a week ago, so you're gonna have to excuse some of the stuffiness. I might cough a few times during the show. So.
Were you on vacation there in Mexico?
Yeah. So my friend got proposed to, so I was recording that. So it was fun, man. The food was awesome. I think I'm probably 5-10 pounds heavier. But yeah, it's been fun, man. Glad to be back though.
No, dude, I appreciate you sitting down with me today and kind of taking the time out. This is actually our first time that we've actually met. Your brother-in-law, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I know your brother-in-law from my days of my childhood and everything. We actually used to work together at a skating rink, if you can.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. No, we've known each other a long time. He also hung out with my sister a lot, and our friend groups kind of mixed and mingled a lot when we were younger. So that's really cool. But today, Nick, like I said, we're going to dive into what it is that you seemingly are a foremost authority in what you guys are launching right now over at Revno. But for those out there that don't know you particularly and what it is that you do, take a minute to just educate everybody on what you got going on.
Yeah, appreciate that. So short blurb on me. I started out actually, 14 years old, just trying to make extra money, right? So I went around the neighborhood, handed out flyers, and just built my own little business. I was making like a few $100s a week, and at that time I was 14 years old. I mean, that was great money for me. So I've always kind of had that sales bug, trying to make money for myself, kind of a self-starter type person. But been in sales for over 10 years. Always loved technology, artificial intelligence. I mean, if you talk to any of my friends, man, I'll yap about it all day. So. That's really how I got started. I've been in the mortgage industry. I've sold SaaS software. Now I'm stepping into the AI space. So really saw a gap in the marketplace. I'm sure you can attest to this too. I mean, there's so many tools out there now. I mean, it can be overwhelming. So if you're a business owner that's looking to use AI to boost your business, I mean, it's very difficult to figure out what's BS and what's real these days. So really saw a gap in the market, and really with Revno, what we're trying to do is just keep things as simple as possible and focus on results for these businesses. If you're, say a landscaper, you don't care about, using a RAG model, like all this advanced AI stuff. Most people use GPT right now just to, write emails and whatnot. So it can be very overwhelming. So we just take that burden off you and basically automate the parts of your business that are going to get you more leads, right? So there's a lot of case studies out there. I've done a ton of deep research on what the pain points are for landscapers and experiencing that, kind of living in that world. Personally, I think that gives me a little bit more insight than a lot of these tech companies where they've got some incredible tools that can do a lot, but is it real? Do they really understand your world and your pain points? And is it customized to you? Right now, we're kind of at the ground floor with this thing, so that's actually an advantage I would say we have over a lot of companies, because if you work with Revno, you're going to directly talk to me. You're going to directly talk to my team, and it's going to be completely customized for your business. So That's kind of, I would say, in general what we do. There's a lot more to that. I mean, we partner with a lot of white label companies as well,
Mm,
which that a lot of people can think, oh, is that, I'm just paying for a service I could get myself. Well, let me tell you, sign up with these companies and try to build it out. It's taken us months to build the infrastructure we have. So those white label partners, we've carefully vetted, make sure they're top of the line, they're providing really good service, and we're really the architect behind everything that they do. So I would say that's our secret sauce. With AI, you can just do so much more with a little team, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little bit
oh
later on
yeah.
in the podcast. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, essentially that's kind of what we do.
Dude, I love it. I'm kind of a newbie as long as AI's been around, right? Now, I mean,
Mhm,
it's kind of, I mean, it's not like, I mean, it's new, right? Like if in
mhm.
the grand scheme of things, it's very new. But it's been around probably a lot longer than people have thought about. I mean,
Yeah.
I can think back, I mean, maybe what, 4 or 5 years, maybe a little bit prior to that, but like my earliest recollection of like, oh my gosh, what's this AI thing? Like I think about 4 or 5 years ago is when like I was really like not shown it, but like when I first kind of discovered it, right?
Hmm.
And I have just started implementing it a little bit more into my business like in the last like 6 months. Like I was super, I have a I have an old clip that literally the hook of my clip is I just said fuck chat GPT, because it was like at the time it like until you got really in the weeds with it, like
Yeah.
it was very surface level, it was very generic, it was very like icky salesman in the language and things like that. So as copywriting being part of what I do, right, I was like anti chat GPT for people because it was like, yeah, you can go use it and it might make it faster, but it's going to give you dog shit,
Yeah.
right? So like I have a whole reel like from like years ago about like don't use chat GPT, like think for yourself and like all of this. But now I'm starting to use it a lot more in things like ops and a lot of the like programming things that I do now with some of the tools that I use. It's like, did I just ask it like I want to build out this workflow for an automation for something something something, and it literally just spits out like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why haven't I not been doing this for the last 3 or 4 years? But so if somebody's new, kind of like I am, right? Where do you think like the best place to start is specifically in either their marketing or their ops with AI within their service business? Like where would you recommend for them?
I would say start small, right? So keep things as simple as possible when you're starting out. The models are very, very good at teaching you about themselves, which is one thing I found when I first started using GPT. I think it was like the 2.5 or the third model. So I mean, this was like 2 3 years ago, and I thought the same as you. I'm in sales, and I was like, man, like, is this going to replace what I'm doing? And I think that's what a lot of people worry about, which valid concern. I totally understand. But I think the way we need to look at these models is really a tool. It needs a human, as you can see. I'm sure when you first started using it, it's like you can tell it's written by AI. I love going on LinkedIn and you see people post these posts, and it's like, man, that guy, I know him. He's dumb as a box of rocks. He did not write that. You know what I mean? It's like perfectly formatted. It kind of has this cadence that you can kind of pick up on. But I would say, yeah, I mean, for people that aren't using it, just start using it as much as possible. Ask it questions, right? It's very different compared to Google. If you want to type in like, hey, how do I grow my business, my landscaping business in 2025? If you put that into Google, you're going to have ad after ad after ad, right? You're going to have to comb through all these links and, figure out, are they trying to sell me? Is this an actual blog? And you could spend a few hours doing that. Whereas GPT, if you ask a specific question, it's going to answer, what you're asking in context, right?
Yeah.
So I would say for people that are, not currently using it in their business, number one, you need to start using it. I look up the stats. 86% of businesses right now, they're saying they're using AI in some shape or form, right? I truly believe in the future, the people that do not use AI to their advantage, they're going to fall behind the competition. So I think it's very important that we adopt this technology. But yeah, I would say like hop on GPT and tell it your business, give it context, right? That's the thing about these models. If it doesn't know your business, your background, your history, what your goals are, if you don't give it context, it's going to give you very generic answers, right?
Mm-hmm.
The magic of these models is when you ask it specific questions, give it context, give it background. And I like to tell people, talk to it like a person, right? That's
Oh, yeah.
where it's a language model, right?
Yep.
So if you talk to it like a human, like an assistant, say, hey, I've never used AI, I've got a landscaping business, what can I use you for? And
Yep.
see what it spits out, and then just continue asking it questions. And that last thing I'll say is, that's the beauty of it too, is whatever it gives you, like that first email that it writes out, that first draft, it might be horrible, but the beauty is really in refining it.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't like this email, it's too generic. Have it talk more like me, have it talk more like a human, right? That's where each output, you're just kind of refining it. I
Yeah.
like to think of it kind of like clay in a way, right? It's like you're kind of molding your answers.
Yeah.
But more on a practical standpoint, I would say just the automations, right? A lot of businesses are trying to put out marketing content, trying to come up with like a plan for the next month, right? If you've got a social media page and you're like, I don't know what to post, that's one of the easiest questions you could ask the model. Like, hey, what could I post for the next 3 months that would really resonate with my audience? So that's one thing we do at Revno. I see myself as a consultant as well. I'm not just selling, software leads, results. I'm also helping my clients with using the models, anything that's time efficient for them, right? And yeah, I mean, I love talking about AI, as you can tell, man. So when people call me, ask questions, I'm like, dude, I'll talk for the next 2 hours about this stuff.
Dude, I love it. I mean, obviously there's got to be a level of like readiness. Like you got to know like when is the right time to start using it, like for what tasks. I think what I often get in trouble with in trying to use it is like I'm trying to do like too many things that are like too far down the road,
Mm-hmm.
where I could have it immediately help me do one thing. So you mentioned like writing emails, right?
Yeah.
Like if that's a big task burden, if it's like a sales copy email or something for like a newsletter or like things like that, generic internal stuff might not be applicable. Sometimes it is though. Like it just
Yeah.
depends. Depends on the denseness, I think, of the material. But when would a service business like know like, hey, I need to start using it like right now?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, really, I would recommend like right now. I mean, if you're not using AI in your business, like I mentioned earlier, I think the competition, people that are using AI, they're gonna really pull ahead, and
Yeah.
and I think we're gonna see that rapidly increase over the next 2 years. But yeah, I would say just really look at the repetitive tasks that you're doing in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that you could replicate, that's really where the system shines,
Yeah.
right? If I'm having to type up or copy and paste a template into text and send 100 of those out to potential prospects, or a big one we see is responding to clients, right? A lot of business is lost in the service based industry just because people are not being called back quick enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's one company we were talking to, and they had, I mean, several leads in their database that haven't been followed up with in 4 months, right?
Wow.
That to me is one of the simple, quickest, easiest ways that you could really gain more business, just automatically following up. Create a simple workflow. Work with a company like ours or a company like yours to create a simple workflow that auto responds to clients, right?
Yep.
That's something that we could put together in 10 minutes, and it could give you thousands of dollars more in revenue per month, right?
Yep.
This company I was talking about was not a small mom and pop shop either. We work with, I would say, smaller to mid-sized teams. This was a very large company. I think they were doing 10 million in revenue.
Oh,
They had a
wow.
sales team, and I was talking to him. I was like, man, what are your sales guys doing? I mean, they're not following up with leads. I've been in sales for a long time. You gotta respond to people very quickly. I saw a stat the other day. I think 70% of leads, if you don't follow up with them within the first 5 minutes,
5 minutes.
they end up going somewhere else,
Yep.
right? So I mean, these people are starting online with their searches. They're looking up, plumbers near me, tree removal services near me. And if they call your company and you don't respond within 5 minutes, they're going to the next guy, right?
Oh,
The
yeah.
next guy more than likely has an automation set up to automatically respond to them, right? So
100%.
Yeah, I would say that's probably like the simplest, quickest, most ROI effective way to start
Yeah,
out with it.
I don't disagree with you at all. I mean, the people that I work with, we have a 5-minute follow up sequence inside of the platform that I use for my clients, and it's not so. There's a difference, in my opinion. Like, there's a workflow that can be set up that is quote unquote automated, right? But it's not AI. Like, it's not
Yeah.
doing something, it's not thinking for itself, right? It's
Mm.
thinking based on the way that I set it up, right?
Yeah.
But I also am now dabbling in like my own marketing stuff where when I have like somebody fill out, I do all of my marketing on Meta, right? So somebody fills out like my Facebook lead form for my service, right? And they want more information. I am now dabbling in an SMS chatbot that I've trained on what I call my triage script of like just making sure that they're the right fit person and the right fit to move to like the next call. But I have it kind of like talking on its own, right? And interacting with the client. It's I'm not an AI expert by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm learning as I'm kind of going through this, but um, it's pretty slick. Like it'll do what I've asked it to do without me being the one actually behind the keys and touching it or setting up an automation that seems very robotic, right?
Mhm.
Because if they don't match, if I set it up and it's very rigid, if they don't match the cadence, and then I start sending them questions that aren't a part of the process, and it can't do the back and forth dance with it on its own, then it makes me kind of look silly, right? So now I'm trying to work AI into my SMS there. But one big thing that I used to subscribe to this was that AI was eventually going to overtake humans with a lot of their tasks and jobs, and it would make me irrelevant, right? Like for example, with like the new VO3 like video stuff. Have you seen the
Oh, it's
video
great.
generation for that Google's doing right now? Like I firmly believe in the next 5 or 10 years, like we're not even going to need Hollywood anymore. They're literally it's going to be a team of people in a big thing, and they're all just typing. They're using ChatGPT to make the prompts and it's just going to be like we're not going to have actors anymore. We can replicate the actors and we can do whatever we want with them, right? But for people that subscribe to that of like, oh, AI is going to, you know, destroy this part of the human element. I mean, what would you say to those people?
I think it's a valid concern, and I've had that concern as well. But I think the more you use the models, the more you'll really realize that they need human oversight. They really do, right? I talked earlier a little bit about context, and that if the AI models don't have a context on your business and what you're doing, it's going to be so general and generic, right? Now, if you do give it context, if it does know everything about your business, what you're trying to accomplish, that's really going to make your business more powerful. I like to tell people it's essentially like adding employees and scaling your business without having to hire more employees, right?
Mm,
So Sam Altman the other day, the CEO of OpenAI, said we're going to see the first, I think it was single employee billionaire company. They're going to make $1 billion in revenue within the next decade, and I truly see that, right? With the tools we have and just being able to do more as an individual. I mean, you could be a one-man team, work with some companies that set up AI agents that basically it's ChatGPT that can take actions, right? I mean, if you scale that up to 100 agents, it's like you have 100 employees working for you, right? Now, the technology's not there yet, right? If you've worked with AI agents and we're all this stuff is so novel right now. It's just beginning. But I always tell people what you see right now is the worst it's ever going to be. You
right.
mentioned the Google's VO model. I mean, it's incredible. You can't tell the difference between, whether or not it's a real person or not. It's insane. That's the worst it's ever going to be. So I
Yeah.
truly believe too. I told my wife, hey, pretty soon, I think within the next 5 years, we're going to be able to put ourselves in the movies. If you
Yeah.
want to
No,
co-star
100%.
with Brad Pitt, I truly see that, right? But
Yep.
back to the business side of things. I've cold called a lot in my career. On the sales side, they've got models now that can actually cold call and take
Yeah.
incoming calls. And we actually partner with a team that actually does that. And I've thought about that, but we're kind of veering away from that a little bit. Just because there's so many regulations around that right now, right?
Yeah.
If you take a company that's reckless and careless, and you know spam is a real problem, right? I mean, we could all get thousands of cold calls from AI bots over the next year if there were not regulations around it. So I think the oversight around AI and just the regulations, that's really going to keep people employed. It's going to take, it's going to keep those AI bots from going crazy and spamming
Sure.
everyone in the world. But yeah, I truly see this as a tool that's really going to add to what we're doing, right? But we're still going to have to oversee what the models are doing.
Yeah. Is there anything that you maybe, I mean, again, you just mentioned, like it's really early on, right? Like it's kind of like this is the vinyl record version and the MP3 is to come,
Yeah.
right? But is there anything like right now that you still feel like AI can't fully take over this part of what a human can do?
I would say the human connection. I mean, it's funny, just kind of on a personal level. My mom hates AI. She would have loved your reel a few years ago. But when I was, setting up our business, I was testing an AI bot company, and they had a number you could just call in and talk to the agent. And at first, I was like, "How is this different from a chatbot?" Right? We've had chatbots on websites for years. Like I don't get the difference. And when I called that thing, I started asking it questions, like, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, like what are some things I should pay attention to? And the AI bot started talking to me about it, giving me context, right? And I was like, man, this is wild, So I think I don't know. I mean, I would say the emotional side of it and the human
Mm,
connection thing, that's never going to leave, right? People
mm-hmm,
like talking to people, right?
mm-hmm.
I think if you have an AI assistant that's taking incoming calls, screening people, booking your calendar, that's great, right?
Yeah,
For me, if I had one, I would want it to disclose that. Hey, I'm Nick's AI assistant. If you'd rather talk to a human, just Nick will give you a call, whatever. We could set
yeah,
something up like that. But I don't think that's ever going to leave. And I think, if everyone loses their job, I mean, what are we all going to do, right? There's going to be that human connection that people still crave. And same thing with Revno. I don't want people just talking to AI bots, right? I want
sure.
them to talk to me, hear my passion, hear me get excited about how I
Yeah,
can help them in their business. So I would say that's the one key thing that's really just going to kind of keep it from completely taking over. But I'm a big sci-fi guy, man. Matrix, Terminator, all that. You better believe I'm like everyone else. Like, man, this stuff's crazy. Am I going to have a job 5 years
I have
from now?
a.
So it's wild stuff. We're in really really fun times, but I'm excited because I would compare this to the internet explosion. I
Yeah.
mean, this is really, I think, going to be even a step above that. And I
Oh
think
yeah.
if people really leverage this technology early on, you could be a pioneer with this stuff, right? If you get in the ground floor with any startup company, you've got the potential to really really blow up and make a lot of money. So I think there's going to be a lot of millionaires made over the next 5 to 10 years, and the people that really adopt the technology and use it the right way and use it to enhance what they're doing, they're the ones that are going to be successful. But definitely still need that human touch, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, the 5 to 10 year outlook with AI, right? What do you specifically see as like the biggest challenges with it? I mean, for me, like I think just like even like I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago when like the SMS marketing legislations started hitting and like all of this red tape with like A2P and like all of the stuff that that goes into what marketing is now with SMS. We were all hit with like a little bit of a blockade, right? I think the same thing is going to happen eventually with a lot of these like chat bots and like things you were talking about. Like we could get bombarded with calls over with chat bots, hundreds, thousands of them, like in the next day,
Mhm.
right? I think there's going to be a little bit of turmoil with kind of the operations of what AI is doing for businesses. That for me is the biggest thing, and then I look at like ethics and things like that too. But I don't know what you kind of think the next 5 or 10 years looks like for most people.
I think the way we work is going to change. Here's the issue with it right now, right? When I first started the business, I was like, man, this is awesome. I'll just scale up my company and have 5 to 10 agents doing all the work for me, right? I use a tool called N8N, Make.com. So these are like automations, like AI bot, builders basically. And if you hop on one of those, it'll take you hours just to log in and get your account set up. I mean, it's
Hmm.
so complex and complicated. So I think that's really slowing down the progress with a lot of these tools. And I think you're going to see, just really a lot of these tech guys just, blowing up with it. But I think as time goes on, it's going to get easier and easier for people to adopt this technology. And I truly see 5 years from now, it's really going to be a situation where you just tell your model what you want it to do, and it'll go out and do it for you. And I'm talking complex tasks, right? Um, I also believe it's going to be interesting. I mean, think about having 20 AI employees working for you, right?
True.
There's even people setting up right now hierarchies with the AI agents, right? There's a sales manager AI agent, and the sales agents are reporting to that sales manager AI agent. So you're going to start to see AI managing AI, right? And we're just kind of like in charge of everything, just telling them what to do, right? So
Yeah.
it's wild. It's I feel like you almost have to get a little philosophical with it and really have an imagination with this stuff. But a lot of this is already being done right now. It's just not adopted by a lot of companies. But
Yeah.
like I've been mentioning, I think the people that do adopt it, scaling is the number one. I would say it's one of the hardest things about growing a business is once you reach capacity and you need another employee, that's what makes or breaks companies, right? That's where you see a lot of people, they'll overhire, end up spending too much on their employees, and they fail, right?
Yep.
And I'm sure you with your agency, you've dealt with that, your workload, you've got to focus on the high money making activities, right?
Right.
So yeah, it's wild stuff, man. I mean, it's very, very complicated, but like I said, it's as bad as it's ever going to be. It's only going to get better from here.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what the future looks like with all of the AI implementations and what we're able to do. I mean, uh, you mentioned the Terminator and things like that. When I first started using ChatGPT, like really using it, right? Like I'm in there telling it like, please and thank you, and like I know you're
Yeah,
gonna remember this when you guys
feel
take over the
human,
world
yeah.
one day, like. But yeah, dude. I mean, it's gonna be wild. I'm a little scared of the future,
Oh, me too, yeah.
but like, I don't know if that's the best mindset to have around it, but it's going to be crazy one day when we kind of just wake up and are like, this is the world that we live in now.
Yeah.
So, but man, Nick, that brings us to the end of this episode, dude. I really appreciate you joining me here. Just take a second, if you will, just let the audience know where they can find you, get in contact with you. I'll put all of this down in the description of this video, but just take a second, let people know where they can find you if they want to get a hold of you and talk to you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Super simple. Revno.io is our website. We've got a lot of information on what we do, services we provide, who we serve. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram. I'm probably going to make a TikTok pretty soon. So, that's kind of in the works right now. Excited about that because, as you can tell, I love yapping. So that'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, just check us out. And if we can help you out, I'd love to work with you. And if not, I'm very big on, I'm here to help people. I'm here to make your business grow. If it's not a fit, I turn people away and pass them on to a company that can help them. So, I get sold all the time. I've been in sales for a long time, and I'll tell you what, I hate being solicited. If
Oh
it's
yeah.
something I care about and could help me out, I love that. But, if it's not a fit, I cannot stand when people are just pushing me into something. So we're trying to truly help people at this company. So, yeah, appreciate it, man.
Dude, I wholeheartedly agree with all that sentiment there. But yeah, if you guys made it to the end of this video, make sure that you again hit the like button, subscribe to the channel here so you can get updated with all of the content that's coming out from the Video Marketers Vault podcast and my own personal content as well. And until next week, we will see you guys then. Peace out.